Hello and welcome to your GG Replay for Monday, November 15th, 2021. GG Replay is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday show where we break down the latest in gaming news, hosted by us, the Goodnight Groofs, a place for games and a place for Halo.
Whoa.
We're workshopping the slogan. I don't think we're going to be able to get the rights for Halo in there. I don't know
Probably
if you
not.
need rights for a slogan. I am Paul, and I'm joined by Matt. How are you doing, my friend, on this beautiful Monday, 20th anniversary of Xbox, 20th anniversary of Halo? Are you you're having a Halo day?
Well, I'm doing great. You know, it's nice to be right all the time. It really is. And we're going to get into this in a little bit, but I got to say, it's nice being right all the time on a show where we speculate so much. All you have to do, you listen to GG Replay and you get future news. I don't know what to tell you.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
Something broken clock. Something right. No. No, it's true. I think honestly you're always right. Speculation, blah blah blah, whatever gets people to listen to the show. Future news. It's like Minority Report,
Yeah.
but like a good thing, because you get future news. All right, let's get right into it, because we have some interesting stuff to talk about. First off, just a reminder that if you come across any necessary corrections in today's episode, send them to ggreplayshow@gmail.com, or head down to our YouTube comments below so we can address them in the next episode. Now, Matt, the reviews are in.
Yeah.
Now, one's an interesting game. One's something we wanted to talk about last week, but we weren't quite able to. So let's start off with the positive news first. Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 got a middling, I would say, 72 on OpenCritic. It's out tomorrow. I didn't even know what this game was. They said it's some of the things. I was watching a review and they were talking about how it's like emblematic of the series. It's Chapter 1. Is there a series? Has this already existed? Matt, do you know anything about what's going on here?
I mean, there's been these Sherlock Holmes games before. I think that this is maybe like a reboot of that. When I was watching the reviews, and they even mentioned it in the review, but it is very reminiscent of LA Noire and the way that that game kind of plays. I think it's a double A ass game. But it looks like a decent double A game. I mean, there's some charm to it. It's nothing amazing. I think the visuals are pretty impressive in places, and like the setting is really cool. It's like this coastal Mediterranean type setting, but I'm not sure that there's like a lot there. It's sort of like an Order 1886 problem where the scenery is amazing, but it's like it's like you can look but you can't touch. Like there's not much there to actually do. But it looks kind of neat. I think the interrogation style gameplay is always interesting. It can be done really well, and it can also not be great, but it's an interesting game mechanic, especially when you deal with like good facial animations and stuff like that. I'm not sure that they have it here in this. LA Noire was really ahead of its time in that, and that made that game really fun, but I don't know. It's a double A game. It is what it is.
Yeah. Totally fair. Interestingly enough, you can look but you can't touch is the reason I am no longer allowed in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. So, I got a little handsy with the Monet. And it cost me a lot of Monet.
Oh, no.
We have a Patreon, patreon.com/goodnightgroofs. Help pay for my art thievery. Okay. Moving on, we also have Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy Definitive Edition. If you haven't heard about this game in the last week, you probably haven't been looking at gaming news, because this was a rousing failure. This is a big story, thing after thing. Got a 52 on OpenCritic. Out of 15 reviews. Not good. Last week, we wanted to talk about it on Friday. There were only 3 reviews, even though the game had already come out, because there was still an embargo. Because I think they were trying to fucking like not let people know what was happening with this game. It's out now, of course. It was out last week. It's a shit show. I mean, we've talked about it last week. We talked about it everywhere. But I mean, Matt, I feel like you haven't really gotten to talk about it since it came out. It was more Mike and I last week. So you want to have at her just from what you've seen? Anything else to pile on here?
Look, I don't want any game to be bad ever, but I will say I feel a little justified. I always sort of thought that this would not be great. I didn't think it would be
Yeah.
a train wreck like this, but I didn't think it would be a worthwhile product, especially for the price. I've been saying that for a while, and it looks like that is the case. I'm not shocked. I mean, I've been saying it. I'm not surprised.
How does it feel to always be right, man?
You know what? Future news on GG Replay. I will say, though, that I am a little bit shocked by just how bad it has been, by how jumbled this whole thing has been. I know, like, the Rockstar, their launcher's never been great. They used to have that, when GTA 5 came out, they had, like, the app that you could use to do stuff in the game, like make your car's license plate and that kind of stuff. And the app was terrible. So, like, their periphery stuff has always been bad. Yeah. And we're going to talk about the launcher stuff in a little bit, but so I'm not really shocked by any of that, but I am shocked by just how bad it's been. And everyone's piling on Rockstar now. It's the thing. When a big company has a major fail, it's just there's more and more stuff that comes out. I mean, it's
of course
how it is.
Yeah, and I think there's been a little bit of hate on Rockstar for a little while, or at least scrutiny on like their development time and how long we've had GTA 5 and blah blah blah. And so I think a lot of people were kind of thinking, well, they can't even release a remaster. Like, what the hell's happening here? All pretty fair complaints.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, no matter how bad it is, it's bad. I mean, we don't need to keep like shouting about how bad it is. It's just bad. Hopefully people don't get duped into buying it, at least until it works, but it doesn't sound like it's really going to. All right. Let's move on to talk about the big story of the day. Amazon had some issues with New World. No, I'm just kidding. Halo Infinite multiplayer dropped early. It dropped today. This was at the live event for Xbox 20th anniversary, which also was Halo's 20th anniversary. Big deal. And they say, in honor of Halo's 20th anniversary, your Spartan journey officially begins today. So right now you can get on, you can play Season 1 of Halo Infinite multiplayer on PC and Xbox. This is a beta still, but it's on. You can get it on Steam, which is pretty cool. And all the stuff that you do here will carry over when the official multiplayer launches with the campaign on December 8th. So, I mean, this was getting rumored as of Friday. Thursday, this was getting talked about and getting leaked, and a lot of things were kind of dropping little news and rumors about it. But, we here at Future News podcast, actually, we're a little bit ahead of the curve here. And by we, I mainly mean Matt, who is basking in the warm glow of righteousness right now. He won't shut up about calling this months ago and continuing to call it to the day without even knowing there is an Xbox event. Matt, do you have anything to say before we roll the clip here?
So all I'll say is that GG Replay, this show started in June of 2021. In June of 2021, I predicted that the games would be released separately, multiplayer and the campaign. In August, during Opening Night Live, I predicted that would be multiplayer beta and that it would start on November 15th, 2021. So yeah, Paul, can you just roll the clip for me, please?
Yeah, let's get that going here.
They gave Halo Infinite a release window for holiday 2021. I think we could potentially see the campaign and the multiplayer released at different times. If they tie in stuff that you get in the multiplayer side of things, if you buy the campaign, I could see the campaign coming out after as a way to get people to buy it for things in multiplayer.
Xbox is doing a Gamescom 2021 stream on August 24th.
I think that means we're maybe getting a release date for Halo Infinite. Or we're going to maybe find out that they're releasing the multiplayer and the campaign separately, and we're getting the multiplayer first. Eventually, they're going to make the decision to just release multiplayer. This is why I just really think they need to split these into two separate products. I just really think they're going to release the multiplayer and then the campaign later on. It's very clear that the multiplayer is in a way better state right now. I mean, they did public tests. We're getting a multiplayer release date right here, and it's coming in November. Ahead of the campaign release.
Will launch together on December 8th.
Summer.
There you go, Matt. This close, they thought they were going to change it.
It looks pretty.
The starry speckles at the top.
And one more thing.
I wish
beta starting November 15th.
Why didn't you get it?
I still think they should be pretty much separate games. I still think they need to release the multiplayer sooner. Put out the multiplayer, see how successful it is, and move on.
You're trying to inflame me, I tell you. And there you have it. Matt, Matt is the true Groofstradamus here on the show, which incidentally is a new thing we're doing on the Game Grooves podcast. So make sure to check that out as well. A little game called Groofstradamus, and I feel as though Matt hopefully will have some good predictions there because he already has some pretty great predictions here on GG Replay. So yeah, how does it feel to be so right?
Feels good because I'm happy that we actually are getting the multiplayer early. It's today.
Oh yeah,
As soon as GG Replay is done and posted today, you and I will both be playing. And
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, that's the best part is that it actually did happen because the game is here now.
Yeah, I'm psyched. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I will briefly tease. We'll have more to say about it later, especially on Game Groups. We're probably going to talk about. We don't really talk about our personal game experience too much on GG Replay, but I'm sure maybe I'll bring it up a little bit next week or next episode. But I'll say I played about an hour today. Very good. The customization's awesome. The game feels right. The maps are cool. Everything's great. I suck. I suck so bad. I haven't played, like, I played a bit of Halo 5. I played, the last time I really got into Halo was Halo 4. But the point is, it's been probably a decade or almost a decade since I've really sat and gotten into Halo. So I don't know what it is or if everyone else has just passed me, but I've gotten used to that really, like, I'm not a big shooter guy, but I've gotten really used to that very like quick twitch, like Call of Duty style shooting, or even like Fortnite has kind of a satisfying like quick death if you really can like muster it. And Halo just has this kind of like, I don't know. I need to get the feel for it down. I've been really hyped, but now after playing the gunplay a little bit, I think I'm gonna have to practice to get back to where I was.
Yeah, it's an arena shooter. It's been so long since I've played an arena shooter where you do have that longer time to kill. You have these extra things going on that you don't have in these more tactical, I guess you would call them, or more closer to life FPS. I'm not, Fortnite is not close to life, but you know what I mean. And that's a third person shooter, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play this. I have not really played much of a Halo since Halo 3. I love the first 3 Halo games. They're like all-time games for me. Halo Reach I played a little bit of, not a ton, and really only the multiplayer. So it's been a while. I'm pumped. Halo Infinite, I'm all in on it.
One thing I will say is that there's no boxer preset for the control scheme if you're using a controller on PC, which kind of bummed me out. There's a lot of presets. They don't have my favorite, which is boxer. I think that's because boxer takes like your left trigger and instead of aiming down sights, you melee. And there's no way to get that unless you custom change all the presets, which you can. You can make your own custom preset. But yeah, I guess it's because aim down sights is such a major part of the game now. It didn't used to be, and over time now it's so smooth that that's become a big part. But I think I might try to remap that to my thumbstick because I love bashing people, and right now I'm bashing people with the thumbstick, and I'm not quick enough. I want to run up, boom, with the left trigger. So I got to work my way out, or just learn to stop being a pleb and play on keyboard and mouse. But
we'll see. The old days of clicking in the right thumbstick on the sniper.
Yes, absolutely, right? So, I mean, now you can do that with left trigger, but I just love smashing people in the face with a left trigger, so I'll have to figure that out. But the boxer will live on, I tell you. All right, so that's it for Halo. We'll have more to say. We will have plenty more to say on Game Grooves this week, so make sure you listen. If you're a Patreon, you can listen on Friday, but otherwise it's on Sunday, and you're going to want to listen because all 4 of us will have played a bunch of Halo by then, and it will be interesting to talk about it. All right. Let's move on to talk about something a little bit different here. Something I personally am very excited about. Not everyone is, but Quantic Dream's Star Wars game is apparently set in the High Republic era. This was leaked by Jeff Grubb, of course. He's kind of crawled his way up through the dirt, and there he is. I don't know, the Grubb joke. I don't know where I'm going with that. Quote. Currently named Star Wars Eclipse, the project is set during the affluent High Republic era around 200 years before the Skywalker saga, not to be confused with the Old Republic, which is like thousands of years before that during the Jedi Sith All-Out Wars. So this is pretty interesting. I don't know a ton about High Republic. All I know is that this is pretty popular now. I mean, we haven't seen a ton of Star Wars media yet, I think, that's doing it, but a lot of stuff that's coming in shows and movies and things are going to be set in High Republic. I think because they want to maybe give themselves a distance from the main timeline. It's just overdone right now. But if they go back, they can leave little Easter eggs and stuff and not actually, if they go forward, then people are going to be like, you ruined it. So like, if you go back, you don't have to worry about ruining it. But anyway, So that's more credence to the High Republic thing. And Grubb also says that he thinks it will be revealed before the end of the year. So possibly at the Game Awards. Maybe that's something we'll be
That sounds
talking
right.
about
Yeah.
then. Or it could be something that gets pushed back. Matt, what do you think? I mean, I know you do like a Quantic Dream game, but as much as someone who's into them does,
hmm
but also you're not a huge Star Wars stan. So how are you feeling about this kind of rumor right now? Is this does this give you any excitement for it?
I'm okay on Star Wars. I'll take Star Wars over something like the Avengers, which for me is not a high bar. But
Both owned by Disney.
I don't dislike Star Wars.
Disney doesn't
by any
care either
means.
way.
I will say, here's my big question actually for you, and you might be able to answer this. I'm confused because when Disney bought Star Wars, they explicitly said that everything extended universe out the window.
Yep.
These very specific things are canon, but now they're bringing in things that were extended universe. Like High Republic existed in the extended universe, and now they're making it an actual thing. Are they? I'm very confused. Are they just going back on that now, or
No. So there's no going back, right? It's like one of these things where you have all this great media. Well, you have all this media. Some of it's pretty good, or at least the idea is good, but it wasn't executed in the way that someone might have wanted. So they might have taken some ideas from the extended universe and put those into the sequel trilogy. They might have taken some of the ideas from some of the books or whatever about High Republic and put that into this stuff. So I think the idea is that they're picking and choosing what they like. I don't think any of it's becoming canon, but rather they're just kind of able to kind of crib interesting ideas from that, and then they can expand on those what they like. An interesting thing, it's like an interesting thing that happened with Dragon Balls. This is kind of a weird random thing. This is something I know of where like you probably know Broly, that like big hulking
right? Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
like that was like a big thing, and all he did was like run around screaming Goku and like killing everyone. And he wasn't canon because he was only in the movies.
Oh,
But then they made that new movie recently, in the Super movie, and those are all canon, the newer movies. And they redid the character completely, and he was like much more articulate, and it was very different.
huh.
And it's like the character from the past didn't become like they didn't canonize the old media, but they took the idea of that character and then like made him canon. So I think this is kind of a similar thing, really.
That is so weird to me that the old Dragon Ball movies weren't canon. Like, why?
There was all kinds of weird shit in those that like didn't make any sense. Like there was bits where like Goku went Super Saiyan, but it was like red and not gold. Like there was all,
Oh,
and then they had like there's all this stuff that like where they did weird crap, and then they were like that wouldn't make sense in the show. It was just cool.
yeah.
Not that the show makes sense, but I just mean like vaguely.
I only saw like maybe one or two of the movies back in the day, and I don't really remember them at all. But I do remember looking up like you would find fan art online, but like people would claim that this is what Super Saiyan 4 looks like.
Yeah,
It's like
5 was a
leaked,
big one. That
but
weird one with like the white hair that was like all the
yeah,
way
yeah,
back, and
yeah.
they're like big giant like foreheads. Yeah, that was really crazy.
I loved that was back when like that sort of stuff was like maybe it actually is real. No, who really
in
knows?
Japan, it's already released, and this is what it looks like.
Right.
And I'm like, how the fuck would I know? I'm 8, and I've just gotten the internet. This probably could be real.
Yeah, it reminds me of when I was a kid. I got a magazine that showed all the new Pokemon. It was the Gen 2 Pokemon.
Yes.
And like it was so weird because they were all these new monsters. It only had the Japanese names for them in the magazine. It was like it was crazy. It was awesome.
Cool.
That sort of stuff just doesn't exist anymore.
No, not at all.
But and it's Star Wars.
Shows like ours are just like killing all of that. It's all leaked. It's all out there worldwide. But yeah, Star Wars. I don't know, Matt. Does this sound cool to you? David Cage, Quantic Dream, Star Wars, High Republic. Fuck it. Yeah, right?
It's weird because I can totally visualize, like after seeing Detroit, I can totally visualize a Star Wars game from them.
Same.
Before that, I don't know if I could have.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be good or not, but I think it's interesting. It's intriguing. But I'm a little bit worried. Paul. I don't know. With David Cage's writing, it could go in many different ways.
I'm fully on board. I was a huge sucker for Detroit. I think the only person I've seen who is like unabashedly perfect, not perfect, but like unabashedly like I loved it all, like minus a couple things. Whereas some people are like, yeah, it's like cringy, but like there's good bits. I'm like, I had a great time. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm also pretty excited it's going to take place in a part of the Star Wars universe that we haven't really seen or gone to.
I'm
in
excited
major
about
media, because I don't want to see them. They could really easily like fuck up something major, but if they're going to like High Republic, whatever. Write your own little story. Have a good time. Let's move on a little bit here to an interesting story. Far Cry 7. We're already talking about Far Cry 7. Far Cry 6 already came out, kind of flopped. Far Cry 7 will reportedly be a live service game akin to Assassin's Creed Infinity. That makes sense, Ubisoft, right? This is being reported, of course, by Leaky Boy Supreme, Jeff Grubb, and okay, I mean, Assassin's Creed Infinity just got talked about. We have Halo Infinite, Far Cry, Lemniscate. Let's go.
So
What do you think, Matt?
I'm okay with this. I'm actually surprised to see that people are upset about it.
Right.
I guess it's sort of just one of those live service game equals bad sort of things.
Yeah.
Which is a fair thing. I get there are people that, for me, it's not like live service game automatically bad. I want to see the game first. I'm not just going to write a game off because it's live service. But I understand why people do. But the thing with Far Cry is that Far Cry, more than any other Ubisoft franchise, needs a new direction. Any change that they can make is going to be welcome to me. So Far Cry trying something different, going live service, makes sense to me. I mean, give it a shot. I mean, New Dawn didn't do super well. Far Cry 6 didn't do super well. So why not take this opportunity to make a change? If it doesn't work, then you can always go back to the old formula.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone will still be playing it, but you could do it. It's always there. Maybe after they do that's the move, right? They'll do a new Coke style thing. They'll do a live service game. Everyone will fucking hate it. And then they can be like, look, we're going back to basics, Far Cry. And everyone will be like, yeah. Even though everyone was saying like, it's already been done.
I will say I have a hard time seeing a Far Cry live service game becoming super popular.
Yep.
But I think it would have a player base. I mean, The Division did fine. I don't see why Far Cry couldn't.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also bleeding out of my leg right now, but continue. I'm okay.
You're good? Okay, perfect. Matt's currently shaving his legs in the podcast. If you're listening on audio right now, he's in the tub. So make sure you go over to YouTube, check that out. It is GG Replay, Bath Time Gone Sexual.
I think I just broke a scab or something.
So, come on, man. I'm trying to sell sex and you're talking about scabs.
It's really gushing, man. I don't know.
Oh, man. Whoa. Okay. He's talking about the tap in the tub, folks. All right. Let's move on. Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, is again available through the Rockstar Games launcher for play and purchase. So get out there right now and fucking buy it. Just kidding. Please don't. It was pulled off the store. Initially, people thought it was to maybe fix some issues or because the launcher was having issues, which it definitely was. But now they've kind of said, hey, well, so the launcher started working, and that was key because initially it wasn't working at all. Now it is working. But then they still removed the game. This is because of a treasure trove of reasons, which I'm sure you've seen online. They had unlicensed music that was in the original release that they used they used versions of the game that shouldn't even have had that music in it, but like somehow someone like snapshot. It's like someone wanted this to happen in the company. It had unlicensed music that they didn't pay for that they had initially rooted out from the game. It had really really detailed dev notes that like should not have been there that like broke down tons of shit. Like if you went to the game files, they like explained everything about making the game and like really weird like shit they probably shouldn't have said. And also,
the source code.
The source code and the hot coffee files. This is claimed. No one's like confirmed, but the hot coffee files were supposedly in there as well and in the source code, which is hilarious because that was like fully taken out of what should have been the snapshot they used for the game. So it's like they put it back in. What is happening? So they removed it to remove all of this stuff. Now it's back. Apparently all this stuff is gone, but the game still is buggy and sucks. Matt, what the hell? How is all this stuff here?
Yeah, I like don't know how it's possible that the hot coffee mod is in the game. I really don't understand that.
They were supposed to have used the mobile versions, which like didn't have any of this stuff and was already like a remake, sort of a remodel of everything. And yet somehow this like snapshot that they built the remasters on had all this stuff in it.
I also don't know how like if Rockstar's releasing a San Andreas game, how do you not at least check? Like just be like, okay, I know there's no way it's in here, but let's at least make sure it's not.
Yeah.
Like that's wild to me. And for anyone, any younger listeners, like if you're, I don't know, like maybe 24 or younger, you probably don't understand how big of a deal this was back in the day, the hot coffee mod.
It's a
It
big, like,
was
even if
it
you
was a
read about it now on
controversy.
Wikipedia, like, it's not the same as like every news channel reporting on it and everyone like vilifying and like freaking out. Like adults who were in like their 50s who like never looked at these games, like your parents and their parents' friends like knew about this and were like, don't play Grand Theft Auto. There's sex.
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal. And actually, now that I think of it, you couldn't patch games back then. So like, did they recall games and then re-release it without it, but like older versions still had it? Like how? I don't
That I
even
don't
remember.
remember. I almost feel like it was just there and you were not supposed to, you just shouldn't take it.
just don't do it. Honor
Yeah,
system.
because I think you had to like hack it some way to get it to do that or something. I sound like a fucking ancient person. You hack it, but like you had to
Yeah.
do something. I think to get it. It wasn't just like built in like naturally.
Yeah, I don't.
Uh,
This whole thing's a disaster. I don't know how this was left in. I don't know how. I just don't know how they released this game like this. Like, how
yeah,
did you
and
not
they said
realize
like
what was happening?
yeah,
It's
and
crazy.
they've put a tweet out. They've said like, oh, listen, like we realize there's some issues. We take it very seriously here at Take Two, so we're working on it. And we're gonna like fix it. We're gonna make the game better.
Take
No,
it seriously before you release the game.
yeah, long before.
And save your money. Don't buy it. Instead, go buy shark cards. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
No, 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 don't do that. What you want to do is don your eye patch and your
No,
hat.
no, no. We're not condoning this.
What? I'm talking about Halloween, dude,
Oh,
next
okay.
year.
Okay.
And get the original versions, not remastered. All right, let's move on here and talk about another kind of epic fail because it's 2006 here. We're talking about hot coffee. We're talking about epic fails. Amazon Games switches off New World's entire economy after players discover duping glitch. This is like not the first time. There's been a lot of glitches in this game. There's also not the first time they've shut off the economy, but not to this scale yet. This was reported by PC Gamer. Essentially, this duping glitch allowed players to duplicate furniture and other items in the game. Worst of all, they were trophies. Duping is a stupid word. Trophies, which is like furniture that buffs you in the world, and it's super rare and expensive, and it goes for a lot in the markets. And of course, there is like the whole market in this game is like player based, so that makes it even more fucked up. And players could use the glitch to duplicate expensive items and then sell it for free money because you could just do the glitch. And people were showing it online, showing how to use it. It was on YouTube. A lot of even the PC Gamer article had a YouTube clip initially that they had to remove because YouTube, they copyright claimed. Or I guess Amazon went and said, no, don't show people how to do this. So yeah, the quote here from Amazon Games: "Hi all, we are aware of a possible duplication exploit that has been circulating the forums and social media. We are disabling all forms of wealth transfer between players, sending currency, guild treasury, trading posts, player-to-player trading while we investigate. Any player that is engaged in the use of this exploit will be actioned against. Once the duplication exploit has been investigated and we are ready to turn on wealth transfer again, we will update this post. Thank you for your understanding." What the fuck? New World, Amazon. This is like there's been multiple of these huge like duping market glitches. This is the biggest one, but like there's also been a ton of like weird gold seller glitches, HTML like clickable link glitches and like executables. This is like one of the biggest companies in the world. They run secure servers. Like I don't understand why they didn't put I don't know. It's just such a disappointment.
Yeah, it's always bad for an MMO when the economy just gets totally broken by something like this.
Especially a player-based
And that's what I
economy.
was gonna say, especially a game like this where like there aren't like vendors. Like
Yep.
the entire like transfer of money in the game is player to player. That's it.
So now we're seeing like
Which
hyperinflation.
which I always wondered, if you don't have like certain gold sinks that you have in other games, I don't know exactly how it's gonna work in the long run anyway. I'm sure, well, I was gonna say I'm sure they'll figure it out, but at this point, I don't know. Maybe they won't.
I don't know.
But this, we talked sometime last week about how a last ditch effort for MMOs when they have major issues is rollbacks. They're not doing that. They just shut down the economy instead. I don't know how they're dealing with this. Are they going into people who did duplications for money and stuff, and are they taking it away? Are they, or they Because if they're not
They
doing
say they're
that,
actioning against those players, but like, I mean, to what degree are they able to find these players? I don't know. It doesn't sound like they have very good systems to like, I don't know. They don't have systems to stop this stuff from happening, so it's questionable if they have systems to weed it out.
yeah, I'm
Uh,
curious how widespread is it? Is it like a third of players on a server are duplicating their
I
money?
doubt it. I think it sounds like it's more work than that, to the point where it's probably not that much, but it's probably more than a few percent. And that's enough to fuck shit up pretty hard.
Yeah, this is a major issue. It makes me sad because like we don't get AAA Western MMOs very
Nope.
often, and the fact that New World is being ruined by just these oversights and these major bugs and major glitches that are happening, it sucks because also the game still doesn't work for me. Map markers
Yeah.
still don't work, so I can't play the game. I finally uninstalled it because I'm like, I'll try again sometime down the road when they figure their shit out. MMOs often have rough launches, but this one has been terrible. It's been
Yeah.
as bad of any MMO launch I've ever seen.
And the communication isn't there. Like for, I mean, I want to say a new company. It's not a new company, but for Amazon to have a new venture like this, they should be kind of treating this as like as their own offshoot. They should be treating this as almost like a smaller dev within Amazon, since this is really their first major project and trying to garner goodwill here. I feel like they're just kind of treating it like fuck it, like it's like you're trying to return a fucking iPhone case at Amazon. They're like, oh, sorry, we'll try to figure it out. And it's like this is like a big deal. People are putting money in here. There's a real game. There's like a real money shop. People are paying like $40 a pop for this. You've sold a lot of copies of this, and MMOs have a big community. This is a community-based game. People want to sit and like live in this world. And I think there should just be better communication or something here. I just feel like they're not taking this stuff as seriously as they should.
I mean, is Amazon Games done as a developer? This is like their fourth attempt at a game. They had one game, that Crucible, that they released, put back in beta, and then canceled. Like this, their track record has been so bad. I really thought the New World was going to turn it around. So maybe it's not always the Future News show, but it clearly hasn't. I mean, I think it did well at first. It probably sold pretty well. They sold a bunch of copies, but I think Amazon would be better off getting out of game development and just being a publisher.
It would be so smart for them to be a publisher. It seems like, well, I'd say it seems like they know what is on the people have the pulse on, but I think in general they can see what sells. They have the platform. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a conflict of interest, but I mean, they can see what kind of games sell through
Yeah.
Amazon. They could take those kind of data and turn that into like a publisher that like specifically tries to sell games they know will sell well and develop games that they know will develop well. That's a smart idea that they should just do, because clearly they're just not set up to run a development house. I feel like they're just not set up to be in that kind of business, or if they are, they're doing a shitty job.
Well, it's smart. I mean, that's what Netflix did originally, was they started publishing and then they got into making their own shows and stuff like that. Like I don't know.
They saw what did well on Netflix, and then
Yeah.
they made shows like that and movies like that. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway, that's New Worlds. Sadly, they won't let me return it, even though I only put 3 hours in. How dare you? That's more of a anti-Steam. I'm kidding. They're cool guys. All right, let's move on. We got a couple quick stories here. First off, Remedy is opening a new studio in Sweden. In Sweden. The studio will open in 2022 and is currently hiring. So everyone get your resumes in, and it will embrace a hybrid model of working. And there will be some jobs that are fully remote. Pretty cool stuff.
I think it's cool that Remedy is expanding. I mean, they do neat things. I don't love all of their stuff, but they at least do different things. So yeah, I'm happy about this. I'm
They have a
excited to
lot
see
of
what
games
comes
on
out.
the. They have a lot of games in the docket right now too.
Yeah,
All
they
that,
do.
like,
They have a ton.
like 5 different types of games that are all in the Control universe.
They have a lot of stuff going on.
So a Control card game coming up. So there you go. That's exciting. Call of Duty sales are down 40% year on year in the UK. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think Vanguard, it was a weird year. We had Vanguard at the same time as BF 2042, and now we have Halo multiplayer coming out, and people knew it was coming out soon anyway. And a lot of people were feeling like they don't love this older style of COD. A lot of people were liking the modern stuff. Plus, this game was already getting some weird buggy issues from some of the beta stuff. Matt, are you surprised at all here?
Not surprised. I think it was very clear that Vanguard just wasn't exciting people the way that even the last entry, Cold War, did. I think people were even more excited for that, especially coming off of Modern Warfare. But I think people are just ready for Modern Warfare 2 next year. I know that's me.
World War II is just not what's in right now.
Right.
I don't even think it's because of fatigue, because I think we went through that like 10 or 15 years ago. I don't think we're really getting that many World War II games right now, but I think it's just because it's out. It's still out. People are so sick of it from like 10 years ago. And also it's 75 plus years ago now in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just a little bit outdated. It's just a little bit out, especially when we have so much cool tech and stuff we can do in video games now with shooters. So
Yeah, it's sort of a weird distance back in time now. Like, it's interesting to go play games in like medieval times and stuff like that because it's so far back. But to go back like 7 years, it's kind of an awkward time where it just feels a little bit technologically not there. It's like close to where we are, but there's not enough.
That's why I thought Battlefield 1 and stuff was cool. I think like World War One almost, if we're gonna go back, is actually a little more interesting at this point, just because it's far enough that everything's a pretty different from what we currently have, but it's kind of the first. It's still got modern-ish guns, but they're not near as modern. You know, it's like modern compared to like muskets. You know what I mean?
People are on horseback.
Yeah, but there's still stuff on horseback, and there's still a bunch of crazy stuff, right? You have a lot of early tech, but yeah, again, World War II, we've only really refined since then, right? So I think a lot of the stuff in that just kind of feels like crappier versions of what we have now. So I don't know. I'm sure it has its fans. Obviously, World War II is a popular genre in history and things, but I think it's kind of still over. So there you go. And also, Modern Warfare 1, like the one in 2019 anyway, was kind of like a lightning in a bottle, I think. And a lot of people are wondering if they can even recapture that. But I think what people are hoping is like, if they're going to recapture that feeling in a COD, it'll probably be another Modern Warfare game, because that's what the last one that was really amazing was. And they seem to like come out of nowhere with this really, really good COD game. So yeah, I think
it was so good.
Out.
The campaign too was so good. And I will say, I think Warzone as well, this is the first time where we're seeing it really cannibalize the new release, because Warzone is free. All of the updates are free. They have a new map and everything, and you don't have to pay for it. You can play it. You don't need Vanguard, so why get the old World War II game if you can just go play more Warzone with new updates, you know?
Right. And people are pretty happy playing, battle royales right now for free and just kind of running around. I think that's, I don't think people are like dying to play a 5v5 and stuff, like enough to pay like $80 or whatever for it, right? So something to consider. All right, speaking of paying a bunch of money for something that may or may not be working, Battlefield 2042 early access crashing Xbox Series X consoles. There's a lot of feedback amassing on the 2042 Technical Support Forum. A lot of consistent issues. Others are intermittent issues. I've seen issues from PC players too on Reddit and a lot of other places. This game seems to have a lot of glitches, which is not, completely out of the realm of what happens with DICE a lot, especially Battlefield games coming out new. Matt, you yourself have anecdotally had some pretty big issues with this game, right?
Yeah, I've had textures looking terrible. I've had friendly players, their character model not loading. It's just their guns floating around. I've had
my favorite,
my own character, the gun not loading.
That's my favorite. Is that everyone else is just floating guns? It's like a weird bad dream you have that a psychiatrist is trying to interpret. Everyone else was just floating guns, and I was just a pair of empty hands.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I've already installed and uninstalled this game twice. I'm not going back. I'm sure my ISP is like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm not going back to this, especially now that Halo Infinite is out. I'm just going in on Halo Infinite. Battlefield 2042, I was really excited for. I was excited for the weather aspects. I thought the setting was cool. I don't know, the game just looked cool. It looked fun. It looked like a return to form for Battlefield. But in the end, it really just feels like they took the formula, they applied it to a game that, to be completely honest, doesn't really feel like Battlefield. So I don't know where Battlefield goes from here, because I won't, like, they're going to have to make some drastic change, really go back to the drawing board, go back to the roots or something, or it might just be done. I don't know. Battlefield might actually be done, or they might have to go like the hardline route and do something totally different. I don't know.
Yep. They might need to do something different in it for a year or two and then come back with something different maybe, but I don't know. Maybe they'll take a break for a while. Let's kind of hope, right? I mean, it sucks for them to not make money, but if they're not making money because the game sucks, well, then move on and take some time and retool, right? But just really quick, I know we're in quick stories here, but just like this is, I think, exactly what Microsoft, I think, was kind of hoping on here. I know they're like the good guy Microsoft here, but like, holy shit. Can we talk about this having Battlefield having quite a few bugs and also just not being super stellar for a lot of people and costing full price, and then all of a sudden during early access, the only time people would probably be able to get to play this for free, Microsoft releases Halo multiplayer for free, which is a big thing. And so, and I know it probably wasn't necessarily intentional, but I can see you who may have, if it weren't buggy, you may have like bought it, but now you might not,
Right.
because you're probably just gonna get on Halo. And even Josh, fellow Groove, he's kind of feeling it off on Battlefield, gonna jump into Halo. He may not like pull the trigger right now. People might not pull the trigger.
Right, really interesting. I do want to qualify. I was playing this because you had a 10-hour free trial during this week with Game Pass Ultimate. I didn't buy like the $80 version of the game. Now, I will say it does feel like a weird conflict of interest that Halo Infinite is coming out now while Game Pass Ultimate gives you the free access to Battlefield. There's something like, I'm sure EA is very not happy about that.
Maybe they're like, hey, we'll give you a fighting chance. We'll give you 10 free hours and then see if people still want you over here.
Yeah, it just feels weird. It feels like could end up being some tension in that relationship going forward. So I don't know.
I hope not. I like having my EA Play for free with my Game Pass. So
I think that's something to keep your eye on going forward.
Yeah. Good. Future news. GG Replay, future news. All right. Speaking of future news, future events coming up, the nominees for the Game Awards will be revealed on Tuesday, 16th of November. That is tomorrow, folks.
Yeah.
Tuesday, November 16th. So we will get the nominees. We'll be doing a prediction show on the Game Groofs podcast. Is it going to be this week, or which week are we doing the prediction show? The week right before Game Awards?
So, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, we're going to have to do it a week before what I was originally planning, because the Game Awards is going to would be the day after recording, and it wouldn't make sense because it'd be after.
Yep.
So yeah, good thing you brought that up. I hadn't thought about it. So it'll
probably
be
the 5th, the episode that comes out Sunday, the 5th of December, will be our day where we predict Game Awards announcements. So you can check that out at goodnightgroofs.com. We have links to all our podcasts, or you can type in Game Groofs on Spotify or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And that will be where you can check that out. So you definitely do not want to miss that. I think all of us are kind of at a loss. I'm very, very interested to see what these nominees are going to be tomorrow, because like you said in Discord the other day, a lot of good games this year, not a lot of great games. I mean, not to say that some games weren't great, but they weren't like generation defining, and I think that's the thing, right? Like Forza Horizon 5 was fantastic, but it was also just another Forza Horizon game, right? And Metroid Dread was very cool, but also we have a lot of games that are like that now, Metroidvanias and stuff. So it's interesting to be like, what is it? Did anything really break through the boundaries enough to be Game of the Year, or to really earn Game of the Year? It's gonna be weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the nominees will be fairly telling, but I'm very curious to see what even just the nominees are. Not even talking about the winner. But we will have the prediction show, and then we are planning a live stream, co-stream of the event. So whenever that happens on December 9th, join us for that.
Very, very exciting stuff. Well, that is going to be it for today's GG Replay. But a couple of things before we leave you for the day. Just a reminder that we do have a whole website, goodnightgroofs.com. It is not a website where we have pictures of holes. I just mean whole, WHOLE. And over there you can check out links to our blog and our videos and our podcasts. And all of our socials, which is awesome. We also did launch Southern Fried Groofs this week, which is our new YouTube show starring Josh and Fabian and edited by Mike, produced by Mike. And that one is over on youtube.com/goodnightgroofs. Again, the link is on the website, and you can check that out. It is already becoming one of our more popular videos. And we have, so far, we should be having 2 of those come out every week. Another one is actually coming out tomorrow. So definitely get in on that. Start checking out that. We've seen a couple of the episodes ahead, and it's going to be a real treat to keep watching. So yeah, cool to see. Also, if you're listening to this podcast on your audio podcast app thing right now, also known as a podcast app, just open that up, give it a 5-star rating, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. We really, really appreciate it. It helps us in the algorithm, and it helps us in our hearts. Also, if you leave us a review on anything, we will read it out in the show, because we're desperate, folks, for some fan engagement. So feel free to review, comment, do all that stuff. We love all y'all out there listening, and we have been noticing some upticks in numbers, so we appreciate everyone out there. Anything else to say, Matt, before we head out for this, wacky, I was going to say wacky Wednesday, manic Monday?
Halo becomes a live service game, everyone cheers. Far Cry becomes a live service game, everyone jeers. I don't know, Paul. I don't know.
Yeah, cheers and jeers. That's a deep cut, my friends. All right, well, that's it for today's GG Replay for Monday, November 15th, 2021. Matt and I are going to go play Halo Infinite, so we'll see you nerds later. We'll be back again on Wednesday with another episode. Good night, Groofs.